Some cities are facing critical challenges that could lead to their downfall. In today's video, we'll be uncovering the top 7 US cities that might not survive past 2025 or 2026 due to environmental, economic, or social factors. If you want to stay ahead of these changes, be sure to subscribe to my Globe Trips and stay informed. Now, let's move to the list. Number 7. Youngstown, Ohio, once a symbol of American industrial might, is now a stark example of urban decay and economic collapse. With a population that has dwindled to just 58,300, down from over 170,000 in its heyday, Youngstown is on a fast track to becoming a ghost town by 2026. The collapse of the steel industry has left an indelible mark on Youngstown. The city has lost over 50,000 manufacturing jobs since the 1970s, a blow from which it has never recovered. In 2023, the unemployment rate in Youngstown stood at a staggering 9.7%, nearly triple the national average. This economic devastation has led to a mass exodus, with the city losing an average of 100 residents every month. The social fabric of Youngstown is unraveling at an alarming rate. The poverty rate stands at 35.2%, with 1 in 3 residents living below the poverty line. Crime has become endemic, with residents facing a 1 in 20 chance of becoming victims of crime. In 2023, there were over 3,000 reported violent crimes in the city. This combination of economic despair and social breakdown has led to a vicious cycle of population loss and declining services. If current trends continue, experts predict that by 2026, Youngstown may no longer be able to sustain itself as a functioning city, effectively disappearing from the map. Number 6. Street. Lewis, Missouri, once known as the gateway to the West, is now facing the possibility of becoming a gateway to oblivion. With a population that has plummeted from over 856,000 in 1950 to just 272,610 in 2024, this historic city on the Mississippi River is at risk of vanishing by 2026. The economic decline of St. Louis has been precipitous. The city's shift away from manufacturing and transportation has left a gaping hole in its economy. In 2023, St. Louis reported an unemployment rate of 5.8%, significantly higher than the national average. The city's median household income stands at just $47,176, well below the national median. This economic downturn has led to a sharp decline in the city's tax base, with municipal revenues dropping by 12% in 2023 alone. Crime has become an overwhelming issue for St. Louis. The city's crime rate is among the highest in the nation, with 8,000 crimes per 100,000 people reported in 2023. Residents face a 1 in 40 chance of becoming a victim of violent crime, a statistic that has led to a mass exodus from the city. In the past year, St. Louis has lost an average of 1,000 residents per month. If this trend continues, experts predict that by 2026, the city's population could drop below 250,000, a threshold that could trigger a cascade of municipal failures and potentially lead to the city's effective disappearance. Number 5. Memphis, Tennessee, the birthplace of the blues and rock and roll, is singing a somber tune as it faces the prospect of disappearing by 2025. With a population of 630,000, this city on the Mississippi River is grappling with a toxic mix of crime, poverty, and urban decay that threatens its very existence. Crime has become an overwhelming issue for Memphis. The city's crime rate is 320% above the national average, with 100 crimes per 1,000 residents reported in 2023. More than 15,000 violent crimes were recorded in the past year alone, giving Memphis one of the highest violent crime rates in the nation. This pervasive crime has led to a flight of businesses and residents, with the city losing an average of 1,500 people per month in 2023. Memphis is also struggling with severe economic disparities and failing infrastructure. The poverty rate stands at 24.6%, nearly double the national average. The city's infrastructure is crumbling, with over 40% of its roads rated as being in poor condition. In 2023, there were over 1,000 reported water main breaks, leaving thousands of residents without clean water for extended periods. This combination of crime, poverty, and failing infrastructure has put Memphis on a trajectory towards urban collapse. If current trends continue, experts warn that by 2025, Memphis may no longer be able to provide basic services to its residents, effectively ceasing to function as a city. Number 4. Cleveland, Ohio, once a powerhouse of American industry, is now facing the very real possibility of disappearing by 2026. With a population that has shrunk from nearly 1 million in the 1950s to just 351,000 in 2024, this city on the shores of Lake Erie is in a fight for its very survival. The economic decline of Cleveland has been steep and relentless. The city's shift away from manufacturing has left a gaping hole in its economy. In 2023, Cleveland reported an unemployment rate of 6.8%, significantly higher than the national average. The median household income in Cleveland is a mere $31,838, less than half the national median. This economic devastation has led to a mass exodus, with the city losing an average of 1,200 residents every month. Poverty and urban decay have become endemic in Cleveland. The poverty rate stands at a staggering 32.7%, with nearly 1 in 3 residents living below the poverty line. The city's infrastructure is crumbling, with over 50% of its bridges rated as structurally deficient. In 2023, there were over 5,000 reported water main breaks, leaving entire neighborhoods without clean water for days. Crime remains a significant issue, with residents facing a 1 in 40 chance of becoming a victim of violent crime. This toxic combination of economic collapse, poverty, and failing infrastructure has put Cleveland on a path towards urban extinction. If current trends continue, experts predict that by 2026, Cleveland's population could drop below 300,000, a threshold that could trigger a cascade of municipal failures and potentially lead to the city's disappearance as a functioning urban center. Number 3. Buffalo, New York, once a bustling hub of commerce and industry, is now facing the grim prospect of vanishing from the map by 2025. With a population that has dwindled to just 255,000, down from its peak of over 580,000 in 1950, this city on the eastern shore of Lake Erie is in a desperate fight for survival. The economic challenges facing Buffalo are staggering. The city's unemployment rate stands at 5.5%, higher than the national average. The median household income in Buffalo is just $37,354, significantly below the national median. This economic hardship has led to a continuous exodus of residents, with the city losing an average of 1,000 people every month in 2023. If this trend continues, Buffalo's population could drop below 200,000 by 2025, a threshold that experts warn could trigger a collapse of the city's tax base and essential services. Environmental threats pose an existential risk to Buffalo's future. The city faces the dual challenges of rising sea levels and sinking ground. Climate scientists predict that by 2050, more than 500,000 people across 32 U.S. coastal cities, including Buffalo, could be at risk of repeated flooding, with potential damages of $17 billion. Buffalo's aging infrastructure is ill-equipped to handle these environmental challenges. In 2023, the city experienced over 3,000 water main breaks, a symptom of its crumbling water system. This combination of economic decline, population loss, and environmental threats has put Buffalo on a trajectory towards urban collapse. If current trends continue, experts warn that by 2025, Buffalo may no longer be able to provide basic services to its residents, effectively ceasing to function as a city. Number 2. Albuquerque, New Mexico, the largest city in New Mexico, is facing an uncertain future that could see it disappear by 2026. With a population of 571,161 in 2024, down 1.36% from 2020, this high desert city is grappling with a perfect storm of challenges that threaten its very existence. Crime has become an overwhelming issue for Albuquerque. The city's crime rate is 175% higher than the national average, with residents facing a 1 in 40 chance of falling victim to crime. In 2023, Albuquerque reported over 40,000 property crimes and 5,000 violent crimes. This pervasive crime has led to a flight of businesses and residents, with the city losing an average of 500 people per month in the past year. Albuquerque is also struggling with severe economic disparities and environmental challenges. The poverty rate stands at 20%, with 1 in 5 residents living below the poverty line. The city's location in a high-desert region makes it particularly vulnerable to water scarcity issues. The Rio Grande, which supplies much of the city's water, has seen its flow reduced by 50% over the past century due to climate change and increased usage. In 2023, Albuquerque implemented water restrictions for the first time in over a decade, highlighting the precariousness of its water supply. This combination of high crime, economic hardship, and environmental threats has put Albuquerque on a path towards urban collapse. If current trends continue, experts predict that by 2026, Albuquerque may no longer be able to sustain its population, potentially leading to its disappearance as a functioning city. Number 1. Little Rock, the capital of Arkansas, tops our list as the U.S. city most likely to disappear by 2025. With a population of just 200,000, this city on the Arkansas River is facing a convergence of crises that threaten its very existence. Crime has become an overwhelming issue for Little Rock. The city has a crime rate of 7,000 per 100,000 inhabitants, 200% higher than the national average. This makes Little Rock one of the most dangerous cities in America. In 2023, there were over 14,000 reported crimes, giving residents a 1 in 14 chance of becoming a victim. This pervasive crime has led to a mass exodus, with the city losing an average of 300 residents every month. Economic hardship and social issues are pushing Little Rock to the brink. The poverty rate stands at 18.5%, with nearly 1 in 5 residents living below the poverty line. In 2023, over 30% of the city's children were living in food-insecure households, a shocking statistic for a capital city in one of the world's wealthiest nations. The city's infrastructure is crumbling, with over 60% of its roads rated as being in poor condition. In the past year, there were over 2,000 reported water main breaks, leaving entire neighborhoods without clean water for extended periods. Environmental threats pose an additional risk to Little Rock's future. While the city is inland, it's not immune to the impacts of climate change. The Arkansas River, which runs through the city, has seen increasing incidents of flooding. In 2023, Little Rock experienced its worst flood in 30 years, causing over $100 million in damages. Climate scientists warn that such events could become more frequent and severe in the coming years. This toxic combination of rampant crime, economic hardship, social issues, failing infrastructure, and environmental threats has put Little Rock on a fast track to urban collapse. If current trends continue, experts predict that by 2025, Little Rock's population could drop below 150,000, a threshold that could trigger a cascade of municipal failures. At this point, the city may no longer be able to provide basic services to its residents, effectively ceasing to function as a capital city. The potential disappearance of Little Rock serves as a stark warning about the fragility of our urban centers and the complex challenges they face. It's a call to action for policymakers, community leaders, and citizens alike to address these issues before it's too late. As we conclude our countdown, we're left with a sobering question. If a state capital can vanish in just a year or two, what does that mean for the future of other American cities?